we have a floricane wall and we have a primocane training wall, and they flip-flop. So next year, that primocane stays on that side of the trellis, and it becomes a floricane. We tear all this out, and we will train on this side of the trellis next year. So you just oscillate back and forth. The challenge was figuring out how do we rotate this system so that we can have two trellises operating independently. So you can see here, what we actually had is this trellis was over here this morning, and they lean together. Like you see, the rows are kind of growing together. And then when you want to put it into the flowering position, we lay it over center. We rotate it over center and lay it down so those buds break and grow towards the sun. And when we get about 50% full bloom, then we can rotate it back over into the fruiting position and be ready for harvest. So before we can do that, though, we have to take the blank side of the trellis and lay it down on the ground so it's out of the way, and then that makes room for this floricane side to come on over. The hardest part about this whole process is training the primocane on the training wire. These two wires right here are the training wires. They don't move. They stay stationary. One of the things that we learned, this training wire was too low on our original planting. It was about 12 to 16 inches off the ground. We raised that up to about 18 to 20 inches off the ground. Much easier to work. You're not breaking your back so much. It also gives you a little more time because this primocane grows really fast in May and June. And you don't want that to get up 36, 40 inches tall, because if you try to bend that, it just snaps off. So when we get about 8 to 12 inches above this wire, we're wanting to bend that real gently and tie it with a max tapener. So you can see we're using this green tape right here to train this primocane down the training wire. Once we reach the next plant, we'll tip prune that, and then that'll encourage these lateral breaks to start coming out on the primocane. And then we're using branch lock to attach that to this trellis wire. They'll kind of spread themselves out as you go down the field and roll it over. So it goes relatively quickly if you have enough people to do it. I know I've seen like the RCA system, it's much easier to, it kind of just like goes over like a deck of cards being rolled over. That's not the case with our system here. So again, we got to rotate that over center so those blooms come back up on this side, and then we bring it back, and all that fruit's hanging down, so it's easy to harvest.